Oh, motherfucker, you can't have my cornbread. That's for damn sure. Because if you try to take my cornbread, part 2 of my killing spree gonna begin up in here on your ass right now. If you think about my cornbread, get the taste out your mouth. That's for damn sure. Now, fuck him. Fuck that. Because I'm from New York City, goddammit. Nobody take no cornbread from me. That goes for you and any other you motherfucking farmers wanna try some shit. You fuck around with me, it's gonna be consequences and repercussions.
Haters gonna hate, and ain'ters gonna ain't.
What up, what up, what up? What's poppin', y'all? It's Maestro Styles and Trey Frazier here for another episode of the Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast, live on the website, barbershopsportstalkpodcast.com. Make sure y'all follow us on the Facebook page, also on YouTube. We got the Instagram account at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast, and you can follow us on Twitter at Barbershop SPOR2. I'm Trey Frazier. We got Maestro Styles in the building, and we got a special guest this week. He's been on the show many a times, talking Ravens and doing his thing for the Russell Street Report locally here in Baltimore.
Nope. Hey, nope.
What?
Change that.
Whoa.
That.
You changed up? Oh, my bad. I got
released, and I was a free agent for a little while.
Oh, okay. That's my bad. But hey, y'all, we got Michael Telford in the building, aka Chibs. So Chibs, I guess I'm bad at the intro here, so I'm gonna just let you kind of take the lead on that. Tell us what you've been up to.
All right, so some stuff went down, and they released me from RSR kind of unceremoniously. And instead of going to another site, I decided that it was time to kind of branch off on my own. So I have a website that covers all 32 teams. It covers fantasy football. It covers sports betting. Good group of guys. You guys are familiar with the podcast, The Neutral Zone Infraction, which I've had for a number of years. And we just we expanded it to include a website. We got a Patreon. The podcast is still live. We have other podcasts coming. So it's just neutralzoneinfraction.com.
That's what's up.
That's what's up.
Ownership.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I hear that, man. And congratulations on that move too, bro.
Appreciate that.
No doubt. So the NFL is here, man. Kickoff is Thursday. I guess we could just kind of go through it like this, man. I mean, we could go division by division and, kind of get some of these predictions out the way. Who you think's going to win the division, who's going to be the wild card, MVP, that kind of a thing. So what you think, Maestro? Where you want to start?
Well, we all know we're doing the North last. Let's do the
of course.
Let's do the let's for shits and giggles. Let's do the NFC East. That's an easy one, right? Everybody agrees. Everybody agrees where we at in the East. I think. Let's see where we go at with the East.
Where you at with it, Maestro?
We just want who's winning. Who's winning? Is that what we want?
Yeah. Who's going to win the division? And if you think there's any wild cards coming out that division.
Ooh. Well, let me pull up my little list. I know who I got winning. I don't necessarily remember if I have a wild card or not. So as far as who's winning, I got the Cowboys winning the East. Look, just simple and plain. I like the Philadelphia Eagles. Don't get it twisted. I think the Cowboys got too much of offense right now, and enough in their defensive line in Dallas right now. even with all the injuries and suspensions and crazy things that's been happening on that defensive line, they still got a pretty solid defensive line. So I'm rolling with Dallas there. If I had to pick a wild card in the East, I'm going to say no. I'm not picking a wild card in the East. So give me Dallas to win the division.
So you don't got Philly as a wild card. You got them out.
I do not. I got them out.
Got them out. Okay. Yeah, I'm in agreement with you, man. I got the Cowboys winning the NFC East, and just like you said, they got Jalen Smith locked up. They got the other kid, Van Der Esch, locked up to a contract, and so I just think on both sides of the ball, this team should bounce back from what was a terrible season last year. Going 8-8, and the expectations, for them not meeting them last season. I think this year with Dak Prescott on this tag and a lot to prove, I think this cat's going to ball out, and it's going to help the Cowboys win the division. Chibs, where you at with the East, man?
I don't think that the New York Giants have any reason to be scared of the Eagles or the Cowboys. I don't think that the Giants will win the division, but I think too many people are sleeping on them. I want to say that right now. Okay. I think the Cowboys probably win the division because Carson Wentz is already not staying healthy. Yep. The Cowboys just simply have too much talent. The problem with the Cowboys, and I'm a defensive back guy, the problem with the Cowboys is that their best defensive back might be a rookie, and their second best defensive back is currently sitting on their practice squad in the former Brandon Carr, and he's 35 years old.
Right.
So while I think the Cowboys can take the division, I think that's as far as it goes. I think Dak Prescott is going to play well. You know what you're going to get with Ezekiel Elliott. Their wide receivers, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, and CeeDee Lamb. You can't pass on that. However, I do think they don't go any further than just making the playoffs.
Yep.
Okay.
Look, I hear you. I keep my further predictions for later on in the show.
So you got the Giants you got a Giants as wild card, or you think they're gonna be better than what they were last year, just kind of missing out on the playoffs?
I think they're gonna just barely miss out. They probably hit 8-8, but I think Danny Jones and Saquon Barkley are gonna take that team to a level that was not seen in 2019. Danny Jones looks tremendously improved.
Oh. He ain't Danny Dimes yet?
He's like Danny 8.5 cents.
All right. I'll take that. I'll take that. I think the Eagles, because I think a wild card's coming out of the East. I think the Eagles get that wild card. I don't know if it's the first or the second, third one, but I didn't mean
to cut you off, but I did. So that means in your summation, there's, obviously we know there's 2 wild cards.
3.
We're talking.
There's 3 this year. Remember?
What? No, I missed that. I missed that.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if there's 3. The East isn't going to put a wild card in there because you have the NFC West that's going to put in a couple of teams. You have the NFC South that probably puts in a couple of teams.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but when I'm still looking at the NFC. Look,
there's some tough teams out there. I agree.
Look, if you can swap out how you feel about the South, but however you feel about the South, one of those teams are going as a wild card. The West, you know what the West do. It just depends on who. We'll get there. We're going to get there. I'm interested to see who you're ruling out of the playoffs with 3 wildcard spots.
Okay, yeah. We could talk about that. But I got Eagles as a wild card. Cowboys win the division, and we could not talk about the Washington football team. I don't want to do that. The NFC North, Maestro, where you at?
Look, as much as I would like to see Minnesota take the next step up, I don't believe they're going to do it. I do believe that Chicago will have a better year than last year, but Green Bay, until they're dethroned, I just can't see it going no other way. Green Bay is going to win that division.
Yeah, this is the division where I don't have a wild card team coming out of. I think the Bears are still going to be the Bears. I think they're kind of 8-8-ish right about now. The Lions, I think they'll be slightly improved, but they're not going to be enough. I think the loss of Stephon Diggs is going to play a huge role here. And I don't think people are giving enough, credence to that. I got the Vikings just barely not making it. And I got Green Bay winning this division by a couple of games. I just don't know if Adam Thielen, a lot of pressure is going to be on that guy. Now he's the dude. Who's going to be that, second dude to kind of take some pressure off of him.
Well,
I think
that's the thing.
Where they fall short.
They used to have two number one wide receivers, and now they just, don't. Justin Jefferson's going to have to step up in a big way.
Yeah, right. And I don't see him doing much of that. I don't see him doing enough of that for them to be a playoff team. So where you at with it, Chibs?
I also have Green Bay winning the division. The problem, again, they are lacking in the wide receiver department. They have Aaron Jones and Devontae Adams catching passes and absolutely nobody else. So that could hurt them down the line, especially when a couple of those teams have pretty good secondaries. Now, I have the Vikings as a wild card.
Okay.
The only way that changes is if they suffer some significant injuries. They have one of the best pass rushing duos in the NFL in Hunter and
Ngakoue.
Yannick Ngakoue. Yeah.
Yep.
That's big
pass
time.
rush. Yeah, pass rush cannot go understated. Their secondary is good, not great. I think their defense overall is good enough to keep even high flying teams kind of grounded a little bit.
Okay.
Yep. No doubt.
I don't have I want Minnesota to make the playoffs. I don't know if I think they're going to make it.
Okay. So you just got Green Bay and that's it.
I got Green Bay, yeah.
Okay. All right. So I kind of see where you're headed with this one. You got three teams out of one of these next two divisions making the playoffs. We could go
damn it. I keep forgetting it's three.
Come on, man.
I might renege. Nah, I can't renege. I renege. I take Minnesota. I take Minnesota. Three.
Okay.
I take Minnesota.
All right.
Yeah, I take Minnesota. Yeah.
All right. Nah, that's cool. All right. So NFC South, Maestro, where you at?
Look, Tampa Bay has put together a hell of a team on paper.
Mm-hmm.
Have they though?
At least on offense. Look, Leonard Fournette, Shady McCoy, and Ronald Jones, and I get that one of those guys, Shady McCoy, is going to get the short end of the stick, but
they already said Shady is going to be used on third downs and such.
I think that's going to change by the first quarter of the season.
Keyshawn Vaughn.
Yeah.
It's going to be Keyshawn Vaughn.
Yeah, I think that. I think that Shady McCoy experiment is going to end really fast. If God forbid he don't get injured. But I don't think that Shady McCoy experience is going to last long between Ronald Jones and Fournette and him, and then whoever. Yeah, I don't think that's going to last long for Shady McCoy. But I got the Saints, man. I got the Saints winning the division. It's just I get the lack of number 2 receiver, and but I look. I'm not sleeping on Drew Brees. I just can't. I got to give him his respect. I got to give him his respect for his knowledge of the division, his knowledge of the team. Tampa Bay might see a couple of bumps and bruises, getting everything together. I don't think Tom Brady is the same guy that everybody wants him to, wants to regard him as he once was. I know he's the greatest to ever play the game at quarterback. I get everything you get. Anybody, any way that you dispute it. I don't think he's that guy this year, but I do give Tampa the wild card.
Yeah, I'm with you, Maestro. I got the Saints winning the NFC South. And look, man, Alvin Kamara, they finally working on a contract extension with this guy. Thank God for that. So that's going to be huge. I think is Latavius Murray still on that team?
Yeah.
Okay. And I like Latavius Murray in that offense to spell for Alvin Kamara when needed. I just like the Saints like overall, man. I mean, their defense is pretty good, man, with Cameron Jordan and Marshawn Lattimore, you know, in that secondary. I like the Saints to win the South. The Bucks, I'm kind of a little, you know, iffy on them. I'll just say, just for the sake that, you know, Tom Brady's there, I think they've put enough weapons around him to where it's not going to be, you know, throwing the ball all over the lot. I don't think it's going to be that. I think, and I kind of disagree with your Shady McCoy thing, Maestro. I do think that he'll be a huge part of the offense, and I don't mean huge as in he's going to be the number one guy. I think they're going to use all three of these backs simultaneously, like kind of like how New England kind of does the running back by committee thing. I think Tampa Bay is somehow going to implement that into their offense. So I like the Bucks to make the wild card here. They probably go 10-6. You know, just
what's Shady McCoy big statistically? What do you consider Shady McCoy stat wise as being a big part of the offense?
I'd say 50. I'd say about 50 carries, 500 and something yards, 3-4 touchdowns. Just kind of throwing some numbers out there.
If you want Shady to have 50 carries and you want him to have 500 something yards, then he will have to have a 10 plus yard per carry average.
Well,
that's a fact, and you know he's
at
not doing
100
that.
Years old.
And let's be clear, he's not doing that.
Yeah. No, I mean, when you break the numbers down, that's true. What about 50 touches? And he gets 500 and something scrimmage yards.
That's doable because then you're combining, third down passing and such.
Yep. Because if anybody's going to catch the ball at the backfield, it's going to be him. I think Ronald Jones is pretty effective in that regard. Also, I don't know about Leonard Fournette. I think he's just going to be that bruising type running back for them.
And you got Tampa Bay being a more throwing team or running team at this stage of the game with Tom Brady, but with Goodwin, Mike Evans. I'm sorry, Mike Evans and Rob Gronkowski, and I don't know if they got to get rid of Cameron Brate, but then that's even a second tight end that's still in the game.
And OJ Howard.
And OJ Howard. So Cameron Brate probably going to take a backseat. It's a lot of weapons on offense. So y'all see this as more of a running team or a throwing team?
I see it more as a throwing team, but I really honestly believe that if they want like real success and they want to protect Tom Brady, I think they're gonna have to implement the run in this offense a lot more. Like I would say, I think it needs to be 55% throwing, 45% running. I don't think it could be lopsided the way it was in New England.
I think it's going to be a throwing team.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about it being a throwing team is that Tom Brady likes to throw short passes. So I also think that the running backs are going to be highly involved in that. And for reference, Leonard Fournette, to answer an earlier question, has averaged 44.5 catches per season. That's it.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. NFC West, Maestro, who you got?
I don't get to pick the NFC South.
I about to say he didn't get.
Oh,
to pick
did
the
I
South,
skip you?
bruh.
Oh man,
It's because
my
I'm white.
bad, Chibs.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Not much has changed, man. I'm picking New Orleans to win the division, obviously, but my wild card team is actually Atlanta. They have an improved tight end. There's a very small chance that they don't improve on a disastrous 2019 season. I think Devin White takes a huge step forward for the Bucks. However, I think that the offensive line in Atlanta is good enough to shy off the Bucks defense, because it was good enough to shy off the Saints defense in 2019. So that being said, I think the Bucs go 10-6, but I think they lose the head-to-head to Atlanta. So Atlanta takes the wild card spot from them.
So just for clarification, Tampa Bay does not make the playoffs in your eyes?
Correct.
Wow.
10-6, no playoffs.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Bold.
Man. Hey, I got a question for you, Chibs. What do you think about the Todd Gurley experiment in Atlanta? You think he's got something to prove there? You think this is his last opportunity?
I think if he doesn't prove it in Atlanta, then he's not going to get another opportunity. Correct. Maybe as a backup. However, he's 5 years into the league. He's been dealing with multiple injuries. The shelf life for most NFL running backs is 5.5, 6 years. If he does not prove it this year with a 4,000-yard season, say goodbye to Todd Gurley fantasy owners.
So I ask you this, man, and you can update me if this has changed. But the last I heard, Todd Gurley is wearing number 21. And a little while ago, he had a conversation, let's say, with Dion, and Dion was basically saying something to the effect of, like, "Nah, you shouldn't do that." And he said he's going to do it anyway. Your thoughts on it?
I like the attitude. You're not going to tell me I can't wear a fucking number.
Like the attitude.
That simple.
Yeah.
People tell me that 44 was a bad defensive back number when I wore it in high school. I did fine. Look at Marlon Humphrey. He's number 44. He's doing fine.
Right.
A number is just a number. If you attach a stigma to a number, that's where you're going to have issues. Like the whole CeeDee Lamb thing in Dallas with him wearing 88. Like that's Jerry Jones attaching the stigma to the number. That puts more pressure on the player. With Todd Gurley saying, "I don't care. I'm going to wear the number anyway. Like you were my idol." He's not viewing it as like more pressure on him to perform, at least not to the public's eyes. So I'm cool with it, man. Like you want your attitude to run back. Like you tell me I can't do something, I'm going to do it anyway. You want that attitude in a skill position player.
And Chibs, I'm going to be honest with you. Hold on, Maestro. I don't mean to cut you off. But to be honest with you, Chibs, if the Falcons or Dion or whoever has an issue with it, then retire the damn number. If you don't retire the number, then the number is up for grabs. You know what I mean?
Correct.
I mean, Desmond Trufant wore number 21 for the Falcons. It wasn't a big deal when he wore it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. If he's trash, is this story brought back up? If he's trash in Atlanta?
100%. 100% somebody in the media will bring the story back up.
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay.
Let me just want to say, give a shout out to a couple people in the chat room here. Miss Mocha Bella repping X Squad. She wants to know who is typing in the background. That would be our guest typing up whatever. He's typing up articles. I don't know exactly what he's
I
typing
work
up.
for CBS, and I'm still on the clock, so you're going to hear my keyboard from time to time.
Precursor, he did warn us before he came on.
Correct.
Yes, exactly. He did. We also got Chief Rocker Jersey Vern up here in the chat. He's got a couple comments here. He says Atlanta is coming in last place. He says Chibs doesn't know what he's talking about. He says Tampa will beat the Saints out for the division. And he also said that Todd Gurley does not deserve the number 21.
He's either a Tom Brady fan or a Tampa Bay fan. Either way, it's just a little bit of homerism poking through.
Nah, because Chief Rocker don't like the
Giants
Patriots. Fan. Yeah, he's a Giants fan, so I think he hates the Patriots. So I don't think
he shouldn't hate the Patriots. He was their kryptonite.
Yeah, well, I mean, why you can't hate him and beat him at the same time?
Nah, I guess you can. We do it to the Steelers all the time.
Right, right. You know.
All the time, this guy says.
So it's all good, man.
I hold the AFC North conversation. I hold that till we get to the North.
Let's get through these NFC. NFC West. Where you at with it, Maestro?
I'm going Seattle, man. I want to go. No, I don't. I'm lying. I don't want to go San Francisco at all. I'm going Seattle. Seattle's going to win it, but San Fran will get that third wild card. But Seattle. Look.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, be honest with you, if I'm being 100% honest, I don't feel like, I ain't gonna say I don't feel like San Fran should have won last year. They earned that division last year. They did what they were supposed to do.
Yep.
But with that being said, I don't think Seattle coming to play with them this year. I don't think they come to play with. I think they think that they can get a title soon, and I don't think they're gonna play with San Fran right now.
I love the addition of Jamal Adams. I love the offense with DK Metcalf. Having a second year under his belt. Yeah, he does.
He got to that next step.
He does, and I mean his ceiling is high, so I'm pretty confident in his ability. I'm with you, Maestro. Again, I got the Seahawks winning the NFC West, and I mean they've loaded this roster up, from the offseason up until, kind of late when they traded for Jamal Adams. As far as the wild card goes, I don't have the Niners in the playoffs at all. I got a surprise pick here. Arizona Cardinals, I think, get a wild card in the NFC.
It's not a surprise.
I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah. I just like the DeAndre Hopkins addition. And he got his money, by the way. Congrats to DeAndre Hopkins for that. I think, what's that, the highest paid wide receiver in the league?
I thought he was the highest paid Cardinal. Is it wide receiver?
I think it's the highest paid. I guess it's the highest paid non-quarterback. I guess that's how somebody described it on radio.
The highest paid non-quarterback.
Okay.
Well, congrats to DeAndre Hopkins for getting that money.
He deserves
no doubt.
Highest paid non-quarterback ever, by the way. And DeAndre Hopkins constructed the deal himself.
Yes. Shout out to him for doing that.
That's what's up.
Being his own agent. No doubt.
Yeah, that was who, when y'all told me it was the third wild card slot, that was the team I was wrestling with.
Okay.
It's a lot on paper. But it wrestled between them and the Vikings.
Yep.
I just know that the Vikings have done this. They've played this game before with the core of this team. They played this game before, and that's why I gave the edge to the Vikings.
No doubt. I just have to have a surprise somewhere, because pretty much all the other teams that I picked were either there last year and, have made some noise, or obviously with the Bucks they got Tom Brady. But I think Kyler Murray, is going to take it a notch up this season. Like, don't be surprised if he's in MVP talks for a few weeks throughout the season. I think he's going to explode this year.
But we had Chips.
Pretty much the same, man. It was going to be my surprise pick to have the Cardinals as the wild card spot and Seattle taking the division. San Francisco taking the division. I'm not entirely sure that Seattle has enough juice defensively to stop Kyle Shanahan's running game. The other side of that is that Kevin White is like their only healthy receiver, so we'll see how that plays out. But when I knew we were doing this, I picked out San Francisco first, and the Cardinals as the wild card, with Seattle just narrowly missing the playoffs.
So, Maestro, for you, you said you had the Niners in the wild card, right?
Yeah, the Cardinals are out for me.
Okay. Yeah, just to kind of, because I don't like the Niners for some reason this year. Like, I don't know if it's the Jimmy Garoppolo thing, where, you watch the Super Bowl and you watch him overthrow Emmanuel Sanders in that situation, and I get it's just one play, but, man, now...
It's not one play, though. It happened over and over again throughout the season.
Throughout the season.
I am picking the Niners to take the division right now. That will likely change after week 1. I want to see what steps Jimmy G has taken to become a better quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna do it, man. That's why I got him out. I'm gonna just keep it a buck with you.
Yeah, but I got him in because look, I get I think it was Breida that left for Miami.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But they still I think that's a punch and play. I think that's a plug and play position in Kyle Shanahan's offense. I
agree with that.
I think whatever running back you put there, they're going to be solid in that, in that role. Jimmy G is going to have a similar season to last year, and I feel like that's going to be enough. I think they won't get the division because I think, like I said, I think Russell Wilson is just that good. I think he's going to put that team on his back like he's done pretty much his career, and it's going to get them that division this year. I got him getting the division this year.
I just think that offense is way too limited to compete with some of the exotic defenses that they will face throughout the season.
Mm-hmm.
Look, man, Sierra just had that man baby. That dude is about to go like ham this season. That dude gonna ball out this year.
Man, that could also mean he ain't getting no sleep too, though, bro. You know that.
Yeah, facts. That's true too. Hey, I got a couple comments here from Chief Rock of Jersey Vern in the chat. Hey Chibs, he wanted to ask you: are the Falcons going to beat Seattle on Sunday?
No, I think the Falcons start off with a loss.
Okay, I agree. I agree with you there. He also said that the Giants are going to make the playoffs and win the NFC East. What do you got to say about
that? Man, you gotta cut it out. I get it, bro. I get it, though. Hey, look, and
I gave my Giants support early on in this conversation, so I don't think they make the playoffs, but I do think they're an 8-8 team, and that's a huge leap forward, and they should be happy with that.
Hey, look, and I tell you what, you got Saquon Barkley on your team. You just never know with a running back like that. But nah, bro. And y'all losing week 1.
Yeah, I see him on here. He's like Monday night. I forgot about that game.
Yeah, y'all losing week 1. You can go ahead and hold that one.
All right, man. Let's jump over to the AFC real quick. So let's start with the East. AFC East. Where you at with it, Maestro?
Look, man. A lot of people just, at least in my circles, are throwing this to the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
And I know they got a good defense. Say what you want about Josh Allen and his throwing ability, but somehow or another he has gotten it done at least last year in the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
Stephon Diggs. I don't know. Does Devin Singletary take the next step? All those things. I'm not ready, and this pains me. It just pains me. I'm not ready to just hand it over to Buffalo with Bill Belichick being the coach of the Patriots, especially signing Cam Newton. Now, if you was telling me Jarrett Stidham was there, then I could give it away on Jarrett Stidham. I can't necessarily give it away on Cam Newton. Cam Newton and Bill Belichick, I think the Patriots are going to pull it off.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I love the Cam Newton edition, and I don't think it's any surprise that he's the starter for the Patriots. I got them winning the division. I think Buffalo takes a step back. I think they missed the playoffs. I
wasn't going to say that, though. I wasn't going to give them the wild card.
You giving them the wild card? Okay.
I'll give them one wild card, yes.
I am giving the Miami Dolphins a wild card in the AFC this year. I think the
Miami Dolphins.
The Miami Dolphins. Yes, Mocha, you heard it first. The Miami Dolphins will get a wild card in the AFC playoff picture. I think at some point in the season, Tua's gonna get the ball and he's gonna do his thing, bruh.
In his rookie year?
In his rookie year, bruh. And it wouldn't be the first time a rookie's done it. It wouldn't be the first time.
But let's be clear, Ryan Fitzpatrick was named the starter.
Of course, and I don't expect him to be the starter for the whole season either.
Well, let's not say of course though. Like, see, I think the trend or the sign that I would like to take is that if you thought that Tua was who Tua was this year,
mm-hmm.
Ryan Fitzpatrick wouldn't be the starter. You would have seen these signs in training camp. I think Tua would have been named the starter now. If we thought that he had that talent right away, that was going to get them to the playoffs. I think they see a rookie right now.
Yep.
And because they see a rookie who's not ready to take on that responsibility and get some wins for the team, they started Ryan Fitzpatrick, who, say what you want about Ryan Fitzpatrick, he'll throw you in one, he'll throw you out one, but there's that option that he'll throw you in one.
Sure.
400 yards passing.
Sure. So here's how I see this playing out for Miami. I think right out of the gate, I think Fitzpatrick is he's going to throw you out of a couple of games, 2-3 games, possibly at the most 3 games. And I think at that point, I think the pressure is going to be on Brian Flores to put the kid in. And speaking of Brian Flores, I think he has developed into a pretty good coach down the stretch last year. Beating the Patriots on the final week of the season when the Patriots had something to play for, I thought was pretty big. And you're right, Maestro, they do see Tua as a rookie. Otherwise, they would have given him the job off rip. But these things change, and we've seen it plenty of times where teams start off so cold that it's like, all right, we've seen enough. Let's put the kid in, and let's just get this new era started. I think they make a wild card. Now, I think they make the third wild card. I don't think they're going to be, number 1 and number 2 in that wild card race. I think they make the final one, but that's my surprise pick for the AFC.
Let me ask a question to the room. What do y'all think a third wild card's record is in the AFC this year?
Possibly 8-6. 8-8.
What'd you say, Chips?
10-6.
10-6, right?
Because listen, you're gonna have. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, you're going to have at least 2 12-win teams, right, in Kansas City and in Baltimore.
Right.
Then you have the Broncos, who could pull something off in the AFC West. You have the Chargers, who could be a sneaky team to pull something off in the AFC West. Then you move to the AFC South, right? And you have the Texans, who have Deshaun Watson and 3 speedy, although often injured, wide receivers. You have the Colts, who have a stacked team, even though they have 90-year-old Phillip Rivers at quarterback. You have the Titans, who made the playoffs last year. Then you move to the AFC North. The AFC North, you have the Ravens, you have the Steelers. The Bengals could make some noise if Joe Burrow is any good, even though that offensive line is garbage. The Browns, on paper, look like they're stacked. So until they show that they are anything but the Browns, we can't believe in them. But the talent is there. So I don't think that you're going to have a team at 8-8 coming out of the AFC going into the postseason.
Yeah, I agree.
9-7 is probably.
I think 9-7 is the threshold.
I think you have to hit 10-6 to make sure you have a wild card spot.
Okay, and not to go back to last year, but had the 3 wild card thing been a thing last year, the Steelers would have got that final one at a record of 8-8.
That was a down year for the AFC, though.
Yeah, right. But how many times has the AFC been down in the last few years?
Once.
Nah.
2015 was the last season before that it was like a mess. But 2016, AFC was strong. 2017, the AFC was strong. 2018, it was decent. 2019, it was down.
Well, you're talking 9 and okay, so you're talking 9 and 7 teams. You talking.
Correct.
Okay. All right, I'll shoot you on that. But I still feel like 8-8 could possibly, get that third wild card. Depending on how things go. We'll see.
I mean, there's a possibility for it because of how messed up the offseason has been and everything. So I mean, anything is possible this season of all seasons. I just don't see it happening because there's too many teams that look just too strong on paper.
Of course.
And then when you look at teams specifically teams with rookie quarterbacks coming in and all that, you're talking about they got a lot of turnaround from last year to this year. So what I'm looking at, another thing that I'm looking at is teams who didn't have a whole lot of turnaround from their starting roster from the year prior to the year this year. And I don't pretend to be super familiar with Miami's team, but I know historically they are a team that has a lot of turnaround over the course of an offseason because they're normally dealing with duds trying to outplay somebody so they can get a job at a better team and a better opportunity for their careers. So, it's not like people stay in Miami every year.
Mm-hmm. Which is surprising, but...
the football is trash in Miami. So, it's not surprising to me. The football is trash there. Look, Brian Flores has been a bright spot, but as of right now, Miami football is trash.
Yeah, we'll see. We shall see, man. Let's go to AFC South. So Maestro, who you got winning the AFC South?
But you're not even going to ask me about the AFC East? That's twice now.
Yo, wow.
Hey, I don't think he like white people, dog. I ain't even gonna hold it.
Unbelievable.
I don't think he like white people, huh? That's crazy.
Yeah, I am off my game tonight for whatever reason. Go ahead, Chibs.
All right, so for the AFC East, man, I'm with Maestro. Like, I'm not counting out Bill Belichick until he counts himself out. So give me the Patriots to win the division with Cam Newton at the helm. Give me the Bills as the wild card out of that division.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Bills is not a bad pick, though. I don't want to,
they're easy. We saw what they did last year. They're an easy pick to do exactly what they did last year. That is just an easy pick.
And they have improved.
And they've improved. Right. And they've improved.
Stephon Diggs. Yep, I totally get it. And Devin Singletary's got a little ceiling there also. Yeah, it's not a bad pick.
My biggest thing with Buffalo is that I don't believe Josh Allen. I don't believe he's that guy. I'm just gonna have to see it. But I'm not gonna sit here and act like he hasn't had a decent. He had a good year last year.
He did.
Simple to plain. It's flaws for certain, 100%. But he had a good year last year. I just don't want to see and Lamar Jackson being the outlier, I don't want to see a running back running for 100 yards in more than really any game. But I don't want to see it. It makes me think you can't throw. And I get that Josh Allen got a good arm, but I don't believe him as a thrower. I just don't.
All right. What do you got him with the South?
He's got an arm. He's got the strength. I don't know if
he
has. He has to learn to get the touch.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just that's what it is for me.
Yeah. That playoff game was not his it was not his best. I'll tell you that much. That last couple of minutes was like what the hell moment. AFC South.
AFC South, I am going to give it to the Houston Texans. Look, I get it. For all intents and purposes, they have downgraded. That's the way I see it. You lose DeAndre Hopkins. Right. You get Duke Johnson, David Johnson. Like what? Like you've taken a step back. But with all that said, I think this is going to be that year for Deshaun Watson. We already know what he is and what he could do, but I think this could be that year. This is going to be that year where he could possibly win MVP. This is the opportunity he has. Just getting paid. This is the year he got where he's like, all right. If he ball out, he an MVP, like serious MVP candidacy.
And that's like one of the big questions out of the AFC South is how are the Texans going to do without DeAndre Hopkins? And you can't replace that guy.
No, you can't.
Kenny Stills, no. Brandon Cooks, no. There's a reason why Brandon Cooks has bounced around, team after team.
Injury prone Will Fuller. I get it.
Brandon Cooks is severely underrated by a lot of people, though.
Yeah, I give you that.
Yeah, he can fly.
In his career, he's been in the league for 6 years. He has 4,000-yard or more seasons.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He has a career average of 14.3 yards per reception, and he averages about 6 touchdowns per season. Like, don't sleep on Brandon Cooks if he can stay healthy.
He just won't. He won't have. Obviously, he won't have DeAndre Hopkins' impact, but he'll be productive.
Correct.
Yeah.
Number one receiver productive.
No,
it depends on your definition of a number one receiver.
Right.
The Ravens' number one receiver was a tight end. So I mean, the game has changed, boys. Like it depends on your definition of a number one wide receiver. If you're talking about like a wide receiver one, like a Julio Jones or a DeAndre Hopkins or a Michael Thomas or something like that, then no, absolutely not. But he can absolutely be, if he stays healthy, he can be a number one wide receiver for the Houston Texans.
I was going to say, I believe he can be the Texans' number one, but we all know that he's not a number one wide receiver.
Up there with the big boys. No, he's not with the big boys.
Right. Like that. Right. I mean, that guy's best strength is him running down the field and catching balls. Like, I don't like him when he's, like when you're trying to throw to him intermediate and short. Like, that's not his game. Like, his game is
got to be able to run the routes, though. I ain't mad at him doing that. He got to be able to run the routes.
You're right. And I think history tells us that I don't think he's been elite in that department. I mean, he's been more effective when he's, catching all the deep balls and stuff. So,
I won't hold that against him, though. I won't hold that against him. He's learning to run the routes. He runs those intermediate routes. Obviously, I agree. He don't have the same impact running the fly route than he does intermediate routes. That's 100%. Yep. But you need to be a complete receiver, a complete number one. You need to be able to run all the routes, in my opinion. So I won't hold that against him. I'll just say that I don't. If it's lockdown time, receiver, let's go take over this game. We gonna play pitch and catch. I don't believe Brandon Cooks is that yet, and I think that's my only gripe for him. But all that being said, the Houston Texans, Deshaun Watson, I got them, and wild card, I'll give to Tennessee, even though I don't like their quarterback.
All right,
but I'll give it to him.
Yeah, I got the Texans winning the AFC South. I think one of the most underrated things that happened for them in the offseason was them giving Laramie Tunsil a contract. I think that's huge because they've always had issues with protecting the quarterback, and now I think they've kind of, at least on that left side of the line, to be able to protect Watson's blind side. I think that was pretty important for them to do that. I got the Tennessee Titans as a wild card team. They paid Derrick Henry, which, me and Maestro have discussed on many times, that Derrick Henry should have got his money first before Ryan Tannehill should have got his money.
He did get paid. My fault. I forgot he got paid. Okay.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, I forgot Derrick Henry got paid.
Oh. You guys are good at this.
Oh. Yeah, I forgot he got paid.
Oh, no. They gave that man his money. Much deserved, so... I got the Titans as a wild card. I do want to say, I think the Phillip Rivers experiment in Indy, I think that's going to blow up in their face. And I understand that the Chargers had some issues with the offensive line last year, but I just think Phillip Rivers is done. Like I with all the interceptions and the turnovers,
I don't think he's done.
I think that dude is washed, man.
I tell you what, if he poo-poos this right here with that roster, look, yeah, he done. I think he's done. If this experiment goes to hell, he's done. But I don't think he's right now. No, I don't think he's done.
Do you think he went to a better roster than what he came from?
Yeah, I do. And offense and defensively, yeah, I do.
Yeah, I disagree. I think the Chargers roster is much better than the Colts roster. I mean, when you look at the weapons on offense and the pass rushers for the Chargers on defense, I just think the Colts. And the Colts have talent. Don't get me wrong. They do got some players, but compared to the Chargers, I just think the Chargers are a little more stacked than the Colts are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Chips.
Colts.
For the division?
For the division.
Wow.
The Colts are going to win the division. Listen, their offensive line is one of the best in football.
One of the best in football. Right? I give you that.
Yep.
Phillip Rivers is one hell of a game manager. Okay, their defense is stacked. Okay, you cannot overlook any of these things. Then you add in the fact that they have wide receivers like T.Y. Hilton, Paris Campbell, Michael Pittman Jr. That is a good one.
Michael Pittman Jr. is going to be a monster. I give you that.
He's going to be very good. Jack Doyle is Phillip Rivers' best friend. Then you move to the running backs where they have Jonathan Taylor, Marlon Mack. You just can't look at this team and be like, just write them off.
I like Marlon Mack, though.
Do it. The fact that they traded the 13th overall pick for DeForest Buckner shows that they also believe that they are in a position to win. I am taking the Indianapolis Colts as the winner of the AFC South. Give me the Texans as the wild card. Give me the Texans. Yeah, the Texans is the wild card. Okay. I think we see that Ryan Tannehill regresses to the mean, and Derrick Henry will not carry that entire team by himself. All that they have is A.J. Brown, who, when you look at his deeper statistics, did not necessarily perform all that well.
I've been saying that, man. I've been saying that to this dude.
Corey Davis, who has never performed well. Jonnu Smith. You're not going to be a successful tight end with the name Jonnu Smith.
Chibbs,
it's not going to happen.
So, Chibbs, say that one. I missed what you said about A.J. Brown.
If you look at his deeper statistics, like his raw stats are great. Don't get me wrong. He's going to be a beast in PPR because he's the only goddamn target that they have.
Right.
But when you look at his deeper statistics, he was not as efficient as you would expect from a guy that put up that kind of number.
Mm-hmm. What was his yards per catch?
So let me...
Man, searching the stats, man.
I mean, he clacking that damn keyboard. That shouldn't take that long.
Word.
So his yards per catch, receiving, he only averaged 65 yards a game. All right, 12.5 yards per target. His yards per reception were 20.2. So he had the yardage.
So we know what was happening. We know what was happening. So we know he was.
We know what was happening. We know what was happening.
3.3 receptions per game.
Yeah, so we know he was getting a bomb a game.
Correct.
Yeah, so we know what it is. Look, he was drafted. He was drafted to be a number one, to be a guy that at least my take of the draft of his being drafted was that he was drafted to be a guy and to be one of those transcendent receivers for the Titans. And look, I know it's early, and I'm not gonna say he won't ever get there.
He's got a ceiling though.
I haven't seen it. I'll say that. I haven't seen it.
So his 2.4% drop rate was one of the lowest in the leagues, but he also caused 2 interceptions. When a wide receiver starts causing interceptions, you guys know from the Brashad Perriman experience.
Right.
When a receiver starts causing interceptions, that's when it's bad. He caused a 127.6 passer rating when he was targeted. There is no way that in the deeper statistics you do not see a regression from A.J. Brown, because you're going to have a regression from Ryan Tannehill. You're going to. So football projections are basically like what is most likely to happen. And if you look at Ryan Tannehill's body of work, what's most likely to happen? He's either going to blow his knee out or he's going to have a bad season. That's it.
So that's what you predict, Chibbs. So Chibbs, you're projecting he's gonna suffer a season-ending injury.
No, you said one of the two is going to happen.
Never predict. Yeah, I would never predict a season-ending injury.
Yeah, I'm not high on Tannehill. I just don't think he's that good. Now look, I know he had a good second half of the last year. I know because Mariota played like trash, he came in and it looked like the White Knight, but I don't believe him. I just flat out I don't believe him. I think he's more of what he was in Miami than he is in the second half of last year.
Yeah, Correct. What he did was an anomaly last year. So until he can prove to me that he can do what he did late last year, that was an anomaly year for him, because that's not the Ryan Tannehill that we've seen all the 4 years in Miami that he was there.
Yeah. Yeah, while I am giving them the wild card, I think they got a decent enough defense to play this whole running game thing and get maybe that seventh wild card. But
Yeah, and I don't think the offensive line is bad either. I think it's a pretty solid line.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
So and obviously, I mean, Derrick Henry, they're gonna win or lose with Derrick Henry. So, I mean that.
But he can't carry the entire team. Like, welcome to the new NFL, where one running back cannot carry the entire team without the help of his quarterback.
Of course.
Period.
Yeah, and that's where I think it'll be much like last year where Tannehill will sneak something in here, he'll sneak something in there, and it'll be a deciding play in the game or two. I think they'll get that 9-7. I think they'll be 9-7. Like, I'm sitting here looking at their standings from last year. I think they'll be 9-7 again this year.
Right. Yeah, that's possible. And I think one thing that at least they got going for them, and I mentioned this to Maestro a few times, is that at least they didn't have to turn over, a large portion of the roster so that they could pay Ryan Tannehill. At least they were able to keep some of the guys that helped Tannehill be what he was last year.
Let me
add on to this, actually. Adding Jadeveon Clowney does not make that team markedly better.
Yeah, I agree.
100%.
I agree.
Like, oh my God, we got Jadeveon Clowney, blah, blah, blah. That's great. You got Jadeveon Clowney because you were willing to pay him the most. That's the only reason you got Jadeveon Clowney. You signed somebody for $15 million for 1 year that likes to take plays off, is not a team guy, and is just chasing money. He does not make that team markedly better, period. Yes, he will be playing for another huge contract. However, Jadeveon Clowney, we have already seen his ceiling. You're not going to get an elite pass rusher.
You about to have some people on your timeline from our show, because
So
you got people that swear about Jadeveon Clowney, and that's all I've been saying. It's just
come find me on Twitter at Late Round Corner. Like, come find me on Twitter, and I will school you on that at Late Round Corner. Find me on Twitter. We'll have this fight.
Yeah, we got a certain part of the fan base that swears on Jadeveon Clowney, but I do got to ask you this, Chibs. So when I look at Jadeveon Clowney, right, and I had this conversation with a friend of mine a while back about him, and sometimes, like, when you watch him with the Texans, like, I felt like there were times where they would just rush him versus just, keeping him in the flat, keeping him in the intermediate, because I feel like Jadeveon Clowney is at his best when, he's covering the tight end, or he's sitting back, not going after the passer every, down.
Right. He's a run and cover guy. He's not a pure pass rusher.
Right.
And everyone thinks that he's going to somehow turn into, like, this double-digit sack guy because he is in Tennessee. Like, he's not. His ceiling is 9.5 sacks. Like, you might get to 10, sure. Like, make a liar out of me with 10 sacks. Great. But he's not going to be like, who was the kid on the Bucks that had like 19.5 sacks last season? Shaq Barrett. He's not going to be Shaq Barrett, boys. Like, what you're getting, Jadeveon Clowney. It's a high floor, low ceiling, perfect. Not worth $15 million.
Yeah, not worth $15 million. Yeah, I mean, I think when we was having this conversation, Trey, we was talking about more like in the $10 million range when we was having this conversation with Jadeveon Clowney. He's like a $10 million guy, second tier.
I give him 12. I would give him $12 million for sure.
Yeah.
But that's my ceiling.
But it goes to show you what the Seahawks even, felt about him. Like, I felt like they wanted him. They just didn't want him at what Tennessee paid him.
Correct.
So, but I agree. I think Jadeveon Clowney's at his best when he's covering the tight ends. He has the speed to do that.
Right.
Yep.
So, AFC West, and I think we all agree. I don't mean to go for y'all, but I think we all agree that the Chiefs are going to win the AFC West, hands down.
Do we have anybody coming out of the wild card? I know a lot of people have been high on the Broncos.
No, I'm not high on the Broncos. I'm
high on the Broncos, but I'm not high enough to where I think they come out. You know what? Yeah, give me them for the wild card. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, nah. I'm not high on anybody else in that division. Like the Chargers, The Raiders,
Listen, Phillip Lindsay, Cortland Sutton, like, give me all of that. Van Jefferson is going to be good. Like, their defense is retooled and healthy.
And
give
Melvin Gordon is there.
Yeah, like I said, so Phillip Lindsay and Cortland Sutton.
Melvin Gordon?
Listen, it's going to be
Jerry
running
Jeudy?
back by committee.
Is that what you want to give me?
Jerry Jeudy too, but that running back is going to be running back by committee, man. Like Melvin Gordon had a terrible camp. He's not the Melvin Gordon we used to know. As sad as that may sound to some of us that have watched him over his career, I think Phillip Lindsay is still the back in Denver.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I've been high on Phillip Lindsay ever since 2 years ago. I watched him scorch the Steelers, and it looked like he was running it looked like a video game the way he was running on us.
Correct.
So I've been high on him ever since then. I think he's the guy. I do think he's the guy. I do think Melvin Gordon is going to have to live with that secondary role. I think that cat from LSU at wide receiver is going to be a beast. Maybe not. Yeah, maybe not this year.
Jerry Jeudy isn't from LSU.
Alabama. I'm sorry.
You were thinking of Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, I was thinking Jefferson. Yeah. I think he's going to be a beast. He's at least going to have DK Metcalf numbers this year, and that DK Metcalf had in his rookie year, and that'll be a good start. I don't know. I know everybody high on Cortland Sutton. I've heard this Cortland Sutton. I'm still holding out on Cortland Sutton, though.
I think he's at best the number 2 receiver at best.
Why?
He just don't. I mean, I watched him a couple games. He just don't move the needle for me. It's nothing X and O's wise. He just don't. I just watch him play and say, like, yeah, he good, but he don't move the needle for me.
You want me to give you some numbers?
Sure. I'm sure my platform will love some numbers.
Okay. So in 2018, right, he had an 8.3 drop percent. He had 7 drops on the season on just 84 targets. Okay. He cut that number in half in 2019. On 124 targets, he put up over 1,100 yards. He also put up a 97.2 passer rating. He only had 5 drops on, twice the targets. Mm-hmm. His drop rate went down to 4%. And instead of causing 5 interceptions in 2018, he caused 1 in 2019. He is your prototypical X wide receiver. He has some speed to him. He has the strength. He can take the jump balls. I don't know how he doesn't move the needle for you because he can run all the routes. His hands are solid.
I don't got no X's and O's. I'm clearing it. I watched him play. I watched him play a few games last year. Because obviously we've had a lot of time to watch old games this year. And I mean, look.
They showed old Broncos games from last year?
No. I watch YouTube, sir.
Oh, okay.
I watch a lot. I've watched a lot. I mean, the number of on a tangent, these conversations that you've been having about how I don't feel like I need cable no more, and I need to cut the cord. Yeah. But it's not because I watch a whole lot of TV chips. It's because I watch a whole lot of YouTube.
Right.
I watch a lot of freaking YouTube. Like I watch. It's just too much content. I watch a lot of freaking YouTube. Like it's crazy. So in my YouTube travels, I've come across a few Bronco games just to have a conversation, just to for shits and giggles when I ain't doing nothing better. And I get what you're saying as far as what he's been statistically, because I'm aware of what he's done statistically. Not necessarily because, and I'm sure you know this about me about now. You ain't never going to hear me refute you on drop percentages and like that ain't.
That's what I do, man.
Yeah, right. You ain't never gonna hear me refute you on that. You could lie to me and I'd be like, oh, all right. So that's just not what I do. I look at it. I look at a player. I take their basic stats and say, yeah, he good, but is he gonna be that? I don't see. I see it more in Jeudy than I see it in Cortland Sutton. And I
Rudy's
get that.
good too. But
Yeah.
here's the thing: a team can have 2 number 1 wide receivers. Minnesota did it until they traded away Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, but even when you talked about having 2 number 1s, like I always get this conversation in Dallas that with Gallup and Amari Cooper having 1,000 yards, people tell me all the time that if Michael Gallup goes anywhere else, he's a number 1 receiver. I don't per se agree with that.
No.
I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know that Cortland Sutton is in. I guess statistically he is. I
got
know.
you. I know what you're saying, and I had an argument already.
I'm ready.
Okay,
But
so
hold on, I'm sorry. I'm gonna cut you off in case nobody didn't know what I was about to say. I don't know if Cortland Sutton goes everywhere. Cortland Sutton goes everywhere in the NFL, and he's a number 1 guy.
Here's the thing, though. Cortland Sutton doesn't have anybody taking the attention off of him and is still putting those numbers up. All right? So let's go to Michael Gallup, right? He has Amari Cooper on the other side. Let's go to Calvin Ridley in Atlanta. Calvin Ridley is not a number 1 wide receiver if he goes somewhere else because he has Julio Jones on the other side.
I don't believe that either, too. I don't believe that either.
Let's take it to Pittsburgh, where everyone swore up and down that Juju Smith-Schuster was a number 1 wide receiver. Antonio Brown left. And Juju Smith-Schuster turned into
trash.
What? Exactly.
He was trash last year.
Now, granted, he did play with shitty quarterbacks. All right, so maybe we see an improvement from Juju Smith-Schuster. However, you go into his deeper stats. All right, a number 1 wide receiver will turn shitty quarterbacks better. Look at what DeAndre Hopkins did with that rotating pile of shit that he had at quarterback in Houston until Deshaun Watson came along.
Yep.
True wide receiver 1s will make the play of the quarterback better. Drew Lock is not an overwhelmingly good quarterback. Cortland Sutton made him better.
I hear you.
That's your metric. That's how you tell.
I hear you. I hear you.
I'm gonna have to watch the season to see if that's like for real.
See. Well, no, look. I'll be watching. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's it.
I think we got Denver like week 2 or week 3. So we shall see.
Correct.
All right. That's what's up. All right, now AFC North.
Hold on. I wish I would have not really hold on, but I don't. We agreed. What Chips? Who you got? And you got Chiefs and nobody else, right?
Chiefs and Broncos.
Chiefs and Broncos. Okay. Right. I got Chiefs. Trey, you got Chiefs.
And nobody else.
Right. I got Houston. In the South, I got Houston and Tennessee. And in the East, I got New England and Buffalo. Okay, I just wanted to.
So since we're going to the North, I would like to point out.
Yep.
I have the Bills in 1 wild card spot.
Mm-hmm.
I have the Titans in another, and I have the Broncos in a third, which essentially means.
I saw it a long time ago. I laughed when you said the Broncos. I don't know if you noticed me laugh when you said the Broncos. I was like, wow, we're gonna do this. All right,
already.
We'll do this. So here we are.
Yep, here we are. Go ahead, Maestro.
The Pittsburgh Steelers are winning the division. The Pittsburgh Steelers are winning the division. Now you got the kids running out here trying to see what I'm screaming about.
Listen, the only thing the Pittsburgh Steelers are winning is the award for being stupid enough to think that Ben Roethlisberger is going to make it through the season healthy.
Ben Roethlisberger will make it through the season this year.
I'd be shocked if he makes it through the first quarter of the season.
Oh man,
I'm confident that he'll make. I'm confident that he won't miss more than 3 games.
You want a side bet on that?
Yeah, we can side bet on that. I'm confident he won't miss more than 3 games this year.
Okay, I'll take the over on that.
Yeah. What about you? Over under 3 games, Trey?
You know what? 3 games that he misses 3 games.
He won't miss 3 games.
You know what? I'll go over. I'll go over just by 1. I think he misses 4.
Okay.
So the bet is $25. So if you win, you get 50. If we win, you pay us each 25.
It's 25. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm hip.
No doubt.
No doubt. Yeah. 100%. Pittsburgh Steelers wins the division. We are top. He keeps saying top 3. I'm tired of being humble. We have the best defense in the game right now.
Nah.
Right.
Nah.
Right now.
Nah,
I'm
man.
not being humble no more.
How much have you had to drink tonight?
I had cucumber water, sir. That's it. I'm Skip Bayless with
Something
the
in that cucumber water.
I had cucumber water, and I had a delicious cheese and vegetable pizza. That's what I had today. And I'm telling you, Pittsburgh
cheese and vegetable.
Cheese and vegetable. It's delicious.
That's probably what fucked you up.
Yeah, it's delicious. So yeah, I got Pittsburgh winning the division. Look, is it partly
homerism?
Yeah, all that.
Yeah, about 97%.
It's all homerism.
Yeah.
No, it's not all. It's not all.
It's
but
all homerism.
Listen, your number one, quote unquote, number one defense couldn't stop Robert Griffin III and his merry band of backups. All right, like let's calm it down a little.
We first of all we benched people, and we knew we wasn't going nowhere for real. And we had Duck
Hodges in the playoffs.
I was gonna say y'all was playing for the playoffs though.
We wasn't. Yeah, we were, but we weren't for real. Who you see the quarterback?
Who plays like that? Hold on. You always talking about go hard or go home with your Steelers. That was a playoff situation for Pittsburgh.
I don't never say that. I don't even talk like that. But
I can pull up an old recording where you actually said that.
Go hard or go home? I've never said that. I don't even talk like that. That's just.
It was either the last episode that I was on with you guys or the one before that. I think it was preseason 2019.
Go find it. Why I
said something very similar.
Okay, I don't use that terminology, but
and really I'm paraphrasing. But
yeah, okay, I was just being facetious, but all that to say is best defense in the league. Ben Roethlisberger coming back. He gonna be all right. When he gonna be all right, look, I got faith in James Conner. I got faith in Juju, the two most injured players outside of Ben Roethlisberger last year. I know all the things that are about to be said, and I don't believe in Lamar. I don't believe Lamar Jackson is going to take the next step. I think he regresses this year.
In what way?
He regresses this year.
In what way?
I think the tape is out. I think the tape is out. So he better be just as fast.
You said last year.
The tape was out in the end of 2018.
Correct.
I don't think tape was out. I don't think tape was out last year.
8 games of tape.
The tape was out. Yeah, the tape was out the end of 2018.
I think in Tennessee, and I think Tennessee showed it and how they played them on defense. That
just like the Chargers did in 2018.
No. See, I don't.
They showed it differently.
Yeah. I don't count the Chargers. I just think Lamar Jackson was young and didn't show up. And let's be clear. I think Lamar Jackson is
still young.
But this is different. This MVP year he just had, this is different from his rookie season. What he did last year,
still young though.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but correct, it's different because it was an entire season and it was a team built around him. In 2018, he took a team that was built for Joe Flacco, had Gus Edwards as a starting running back, and took it from 4-5 to the postseason.
100%.
So, Chibs, let me ask you a question.
He also had a 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio in 2018, his first time throwing in NFL football.
So, Chibs, let me ask you something. So, you watched the playoff game against the Titans. I actually went to the game. Me and my wife went to the game. And the one thing that I took from that loss was that offensively, Greg Roman called that game differently than he had in any other regular season games.
71 dropbacks.
Yeah.
That's not okay.
And not just that. Not just the number of dropbacks. Not just the number of dropbacks. But the fact that they kept throwing on first down. When all season, they were running the ball on first down. They were running the ball on second down. They didn't just, do that. They came out and was like, all right, we gonna throw the ball.
Correct. And let me get back on my yeah. So we're not gonna act like week 4 didn't happen.
You mean week 4 before they had linebackers and before they had Marcus Peters?
Yeah.
No. I'm talking about how we played the offense on defense. How the Steelers played Lamar Jackson on defense.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It wasn't just the Steelers that played him tough. The Niners played him tough.
Right.
The Bills
played him tough.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think the Steelers, did anything like that. Some of the other teams that we played during that run didn't do.
If we had a better quarterback that year, we win. If we had a better quarterback week 4, we win that game.
Well, Juju fumbled the ball, and
if we had a better quarterback
via Marlon Humphrey.
We have a better quarterback that we have a better quarterback in week 4. We win that game.
You're projecting an assumption, is what you're doing. You have no way of knowing that. Because look, if you have a better quarterback, right? Then, where was I going with this? If you have a better quarterback, then the Ravens prepare differently. If the Ravens prepare differently, who's to say that they don't step up to the challenge of facing Ben Roethlisberger?
Because they trash.
14-2.
14-2 team.
Lamar Jackson's 14. Lamar Jackson's 14. I ain't about to do no whole bunch of talking.
You're doing a whole bunch of talking. You started this.
Pittsburgh Steelers for the division. I do give Baltimore the number 1 wild card, 100%. But Pittsburgh Steelers division. Let's get it.
Well, look. I think the Steelers make the playoffs, but they are not. Under no circumstances, they are not winning the AFC North.
I see y'all in December, man.
Yeah.
What? Week 17?
Week 17? Is that when we play y'all?
Come back. No.
The last time you'll see us is Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. All right. Yo, for
real. So the conversation in December is going to be, you know what I mean? I ain't going to flex, though. I just hear what I'm saying.
Yo, I'm about to...
Man, and take heed.
Man, if we wasn't in the pandemic, man, I'd be like, yo, let's go cop some tickets, man.
Yeah, because I ain't going to no football games. I
think CBS Sports just crashed. That's cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm definitely not going to no football games this year, though. And we played the Redskins in Washington this year, and Landover this year, and I'm sorry, we played the football team in Landover this year, and
watch your racist mouth.
right.
The racism is just unbelievable on this show tonight.
Yo, so no, let me let y'all finish our AFC North points because I'm gonna ask you about the football team's off season.
Yeah, let's do that. But yeah, listen, man, I got the Ravens winning the AFC North, man. I think Lamar is going to take a huge step, and you're not going to see it so much in the touchdown numbers and the interception numbers. I think you're going to see him improve in terms of the types of throws that he makes during the game. Him not running as much as he normally did last year. I think he throws a little bit more than what he did. And, if people want to say, oh, they got to run him until it don't work out. Well, hell no. I want Lamar Jackson for 15 years on this team. And if I want him for 15 years on this team, then at some point, Lamar Jackson is going to have to adapt to being able to make those throws when we need those throws to be made. So
I think he takes... You mean the ones from the pocket? Of which he had a nearly perfect passer rating last year and completed 28 of his 36 passing touchdowns.
Well, I'm not talking about throws from the pocket per se. I'm talking about like throwing outside the numbers.
He threw outside the numbers just fine last year. His problem is the deep passing.
Look, Chibs, you got the numbers, man. I'm not trying to debate you on numbers, Chibs. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you what my eyes see.
I like the division amongst Ravens fans. That's what I'm enjoying.
I'm talking about what I see with my eyes. Like I think those types of throws outside the numbers. I think he could be better at that. That's all I'm saying.
Correct, downfield.
Okay. Whatever, man.
He posted 116 passer rating, throwing outside the numbers up to 25 yards last year. You can't get much better than that.
I think we were scared. I think a lot of defenses were scared he was going to run too, though. I think they played him a little scary.
So now they're not going to play him a little scary, and then he's going to run. You can't win. Like either he's going to pass on you with Mark Andrews and Hollywood Brown and hopefully an improved Miles Boykin and Devin Duvernay, who had the lowest drop rate of any wide receiver in the draft class last year, or James Prochet, who is a sneaky option at slot,
that's
or
the
Willie
dude,
Snead,
man.
or Willie Snead, who posted who gave Lamar Jackson 119 passer rating when targeted last year. Or Nick Boyle, who came on strong last year, finally. Like, you have all of these options, and if you're playing the receivers, then you're taking guys out of the box. And if you're taking guys out of the box, you have Lamar Jackson, you have Mark Ingram, you have Patrick Ricard, you have J.K. Dobbins, you have Gus Edwards, even Justice Hill came on strong at the end of it. Like, who are you going to stop? Like, how do you want this shoved down your throat?
If you're asking me, I'd rather him throw. If you're asking me.
Of course you would.
Of course.
You would rather him throw.
I'd rather him
You
throw.
shouldn't, though, because your best your best cornerback is fucking Joe Hayden.
Hey, Joe Hayden put numbers up, and Steve Nelson
Joe
put numbers
Hayden
up.
and Steve Nelson put numbers up because you had one of the better pass rushes in the league. They are. If you look at them, they're not good cornerbacks.
They ain't gonna change. That ain't gonna change much.
Yes, it will.
Not this year.
Yes, it will.
Not this year.
Yes, it will.
T.J. Watt still going crazy. Bud Dupree still
T.J.
going
Watt,
crazy.
you mean the guy that Lamar Jackson told to fuck off and shove down to the ground?
Yeah, that's
T.J.
fine.
Watt?
That
The
same
one
guy.
The one that couldn't get past Ronnie Stanley? Bud Dupree, who couldn't make it past Orlando Brown?
We shall see. We a good.
Yo,
We a good.
Yo, we gotta watch.
We a good.
Yeah, we gotta watch some games, man. Like, I don't know if it's Zoom or what, or Skype or whatever, but we gonna have to get together, watch some games this year, man. Cause I'm tired of all the hate on my team, man.
Look.
I was watching.
No, let's not call it hate. Let's not call it hate. And Trey, you know I've been going through this all last year. Like rooting for the Ravens, and I don't like the Ravens. I've been going through this all last year. I was the one, like, yo, Lamar Jackson is
Well,
the
you rooted for Lamar. I don't think you necessarily rooted for the Ravens. You rooted for Lamar.
Okay. Well, let me be precise. That stands. I root for Lamar Jackson, and that's only when he's not playing the Steelers. So, hey, give me some credit, man. This is not a hate. This is not a hate thing.
Well, I'm not just talking about you. I'm talking about like people in the media. Like I just watched.
Nobody hates Lamar Jackson in the media. I ain't never heard that.
All right,
Well,
a lot of people. What? A shit ton of people hate Lamar Jackson in the media. Let me ask you a question. Take your team fandom out of it, okay?
No.
So you're going to yes. So you're going to field the Steelers are going to field Juju Smith-Schuster, Deontay, whatever the fuck.
Chase Claypool.
Chase, okay, yeah, the fucking less talented Miles Boykin, got it. And James Washington, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Ravens are going to field Marlon Humphrey, Marcus Peters, Tavon Young, Jimmy Smith.
They don't scare me. Jimmy Smith don't scare me. Tavon Young don't scare me. I give respect to Marlon Humphrey, but those corners don't scare me.
Marlon Humphrey, Marcus Peters.
Marcus Peters don't scare me.
You mean the number 2 cover corner in the league last year
He don't
does not
scare me.
Ben
No.
The guy with
Roethlisberger
the
better be
most
scared.
interceptions. The guy with the most
interceptions
coming into the league.
He don't scare me. Yeah, he don't scare me.
You didn't take your
better
fan
be
out of it.
Marlon Humphreys, I give respect to Marlon Humphreys. I even respect Marcus Peters' game. They don't scare me though. They don't scare me.
Against those wide receivers, they absolutely should.
They don't scare me. I got a savvy quarterback, man.
You have an old, fat, beat-up quarterback.
Hey, man. Look, hey,
he one hit away, Maestro. He's one hit away.
Everybody's one hit away.
Nah,
The
but
boys
he
are
really
honest
one
on
hit
ball.
away.
Everybody's one hit away.
He's really one hit away.
Well, the Ravens are going to go 13-3 and win the division. So
So Chibs. So okay, so you got the Steelers missing the playoffs again, right?
correct.
He's being facetious, though. I ain't even gonna hold you.
Okay, yeah, I get a Steelers respect. They'll make the wild card.
I'll put out a whole article about it. Don't test me.
Nah, I'd read it.
You're gonna have to because I'm gonna tag you in it.
That don't mean I gotta read it. You know how many people tag me and shit? I never read it.
All right. So So, Maestro, you wanted to talk about the Washington football team.
Oh, I just want to ask Chibs how he felt about the Washington football's offseason. I've been slacking on my tweeting Dan Snyder because it's been a busy week. I ain't gonna say rough, but a busy week. But I just wanted to hear your take on it, man.
Okay.
Go ahead. Oh, you got nothing to say?
I thought something facetious was coming.
You want my take on it?
Your take on it? Yes, I want your take on it.
How do you feel about the Washington football team's offseason?
I don't think it was great, man. Like, if Earl Thomas thinks he had a rough offseason, like, maybe he needs to have a conversation with Dan Snyder. Like, this is a team that is nearly devoid of talent with, like, one player of any real note. Like, and that one player that I think is good hasn't even taken a snap in the NFL at this time. Like, nothing about that team should scare either one of the Steelers or the Ravens or literally anyone that they face.
Anybody in the East.
Like, the best option they have at quarterback is coming off of an injury that should have cost him his leg.
Yeah.
Like, nothing about the Washington football team is impressive to me except for Chase Young.
I was talking about the Dan Snyder scandals.
Yeah, I thought you was going to talk about all the stuff with the women and the sexual harassment.
Are
we surprised?
No. Surprise, 100% no.
No.
Let me say what I'm surprised in. I'm not surprised that it's going on. That's not what I'm surprised in. I'm surprised in the ignorance as to how this all snowfalled from the first case in, let me say, April. I think is the earliest before the snowball fell, because we know about the whole Hawaii trip and all that. We knew about that years ago. But whenever that person put that article in the Washington Post this year, it has all kind of snowfall from there, and everybody's coming out, and his name is being plugged in with Epstein, and then they cutting Geist because Geist is out here acting crazy, and it just goes on and on. Like the only I guess bright spot in the story is about Alex Smith, and let me be clear, I'll praise him for his attempts to get back into to getting back on the field, and his and for what it seems like he's at least back on the field in a secondary role. Kudos. But this team should have been on Hard Knocks with all the drama they had going on.
Correct.
Yeah. And I don't know, Chibs, if you watched that documentary on Alex Smith. If you can take gory stuff, by all means, watch it. But if you can't, I wouldn't do it at all. What's that?
Of course I can.
Oh, I can. I didn't watch it.
Yeah. Maestro couldn't watch it, but
I don't do all that.
But man, much props to Alex Smith, bruh. And I would advise him, man. And I would advise him personally, like, bruh, just take your millions, man, and don't play football no more. I know you tough. I know you know what I'm saying, want to get back at it, but after watching what I watched,
like Alex Smith to just take his millions and go. Like, he can't do it. There's a deeper primal need to prove to himself and prove to everybody else that he can do it.
Sure, I get it. I get it. But man, that's stuff I watched on the documentary, bro.
And Dan Snyder, sell the team, man. Sell the team, Dan Snyder. Look, sell the team, man. That's what I would like for you to do.
James Dolan too.
And Woody Johnson.
And Woody Johnson, too.
And the Rooneys.
Nice.
That's why I don't like when you come on this show.
Hey, you know what I want to talk about? I guess we could just kind of, transition into basketball. I do want to talk about this.
I'm out on that note.
What's up?
I actually am out on that note. I have my 17th fantasy football draft to get to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I honestly have not been paying attention to the NBA this year anyway, so I would not provide anything of worth to this conversation.
I mean, hell, you don't have provide no worth on the Steelers conversation anyway.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's rich coming from a Steelers fan.
Well, get the hell on out of here, man. But nah, seriously, tell the people where they can find you at.
All right. So Twitter is at Late Round Corner. Hence my love of all things defensive backs. And then you can find all of my work and all of my writers' work. Everybody that works for me, you can find it on neutralzoneinfraction.com or on Twitter at NZI Properties. And that's it.
Hey, man, we appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate you blessing the show,
appreciate you guys having me on, man. We'll do it again. We'll do it again during the season.
No doubt.
All right, now.
All right, see you.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Yeah, that was Michael Telford of the Neutral Zone Infraction podcast. Make sure y'all check him out on Twitter and all that good stuff. But Maestro, I wanted to get into.
I'm sorry, Trey. Trey.
What's up?
This is like showing on my screen, and I can't like ignore it.
Uh-huh.
And it's not a sports. It's not a sports conversation. But I'll just say it really quick, and I'll leave it alone.
Okay.
Sunday, September 13th, the new Versus announcement has been announced.
Ooh. Okay. Okay.
Yo, when I tell you, and I'm sorry, sports fans, if you didn't want to hear this, I'm sorry, but this is crazy.
Okay.
Gladys Knight versus Patti LaBelle.
Okay.
This is crazy.
Well, it's not what I expected.
Yo, this is crazy.
But I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
Okay. I let me. All right, we can get back to sports because what I'm saying.
Hey, we'll talk away from the mic about that.
Man, look,
we'll talk away from the mic about that. But yeah. Okay, Steve Nash. So the Brooklyn Nets, they found their coach. Apparently, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving had some input in, Steve Nash getting this coaching job. And, there's been a lot of responses to how Steve Nash got this job. And even I saw Stephen A. on TV the other day, talking about white supremacy and, how there's other cats that's, kind of put in the work as assistants for so many years. And, they have yet to be a head coach. And then you have guys that have been doing this for so long, and i.e. Joe Dumars, who used to, run the Pistons in the front office for so many years when they were successful.
Sam
Cassell, just to name a few. But I guess I want to throw it to you first, but I guess I'll get this out the way. I agree with everything that Stephen A. said in response to Steve Nash getting this job. Generally speaking, systemic racism is real. It's out there. Whether it's the NFL, NBA, whatever, and even the NBA, when they're trying to, do this whole Black Lives Matter thing, and it's cool, it's a great gesture, but, there's still, generally speaking, there's systemic racism, there's white supremacy taking place. In regard to the Brooklyn Nets, though, I want to kind of, pick them apart for a minute here. Because as much as I don't like the Steve Nash signing for mostly basketball reasons, I don't like this move. But let's remember, this was the same franchise that hired Jason Kidd a few years ago after Jason Kidd was coming off of a playoff series and got this head coaching job. This was the same franchise many years ago, and I forget the guy's name, but they've made these kinds of hires where you'll take a guy coming off of a playing career and you just throw him right in there. It wasn't a surprise from that standpoint, but I don't want to label the Nets as this was a systemic racism kind of a thing. I mean, I think generally speaking, there's that exists, but I think the Nets have had a history of this happening. And just to kind of point out the other team in New York, the Knicks did the same thing with Derek Fisher years ago. Now Derek Fisher wasn't their first choice. I think their first choice was Steve Kerr, And I think Marv Albert said something to Steve Kerr was like, yo, that's the job you don't want. And that's how we ended up coaching Golden State and not coaching the Knicks. And so Derek Fisher just kind of fell in Phil Jackson's lap. So, were there players that have been hired as coaches off the break in the past? Yes. Does Steve Nash fall in that category? Yes. But I don't like this hiring for one reason and one reason only. This team, with Kevin Durant coming back and Kyrie Irving coming back both healthy, this is a win now team. This is a championship caliber basketball team. And I'm just not sure that Steve Nash coming into this situation is the best thing for the Nets.
Well, how sure were you about it with Steve Kerr after Mark Jackson had put that roster together?
I didn't think they were a championship team. Because you have to remember.
You think the Nets are?
With Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, and with the role players that they currently have on the roster, yes. In the Eastern Conference, yes.
Okay.
But just to kind of explain the Golden State situation, I remember those first couple of years, those playoff years with Mark Jackson, where I think they upset the Nuggets in the first round, and then they got knocked out in 6 by the Spurs the next round, and then the following year they played the Clippers in the first round and got knocked out in 7, I believe. At that point, they weren't considered a championship team until they did what they did in 2015. They kind of took everybody by surprise in 2015. So I think that situation is a little bit different than what the Nets coming into next year is going to provide.
Look, you make valid points in every point you made. When in regards to the racism and the systematic oppression and all that stuff that Stephen A. said, all of those points I 100% agree with. I think my only retort would be, who do we know who was interviewed before him? If somebody makes up in their mind, because I saw a statement saying that they had Steve Nash on their radar for a long time. So if somebody has made up their mind a long time ago, it's like, well, all right, they made up their mind. So why does, unfortunately, why does Sam Cassell matter? Unfortunately, why does, all these other black assistant coaches matter if they have said for months, or it's been on their board for months, to hire Steve Nash? Now, would I have liked a Sam Cassell or a Brian Shaw or whoever to, get a job? Well, of course, 100%.
Right.
But for me, and in this situation specifically, they said he was on their radar, and their number 1 and number 2 guys signed off on it. This is, if anything, it's a well thought out hiring, even if it's a bad hiring. When it comes to Steve Nash not having experience, I would say, look, this Nets team, they ain't gonna need no whole bunch of. Obviously they need a guy who can draw up plays and ring in a team. But it's not like you bringing it's not like you coming to coach a whole bunch of guys who don't know what they're here to do.
Right, like you can run this team on autopilot and they're still gonna do what they do.
For lack of a better term, this team on autopilot is still a finals contender. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, in the press conference, they said something to the effect of, we got him here, Steve Nash here, and we're depending on his expertise from running the floor on court. We're counting on him bringing that to the to the bench.
Yep.
All right, sound like y'all got a plan to me. I think I'm okay, and let me be clear, I'm okay with the hire. I'm okay with it. Would it be my top hire? Probably not. But if Greg Popovich ain't really in the running, and you said you have a plan, your plan was to bring in Steve Nash months ago. That's what you wanted to do. at least I know you thought about it. And if I know you thought about it, it's like, all right, cool. Like, all right, I ain't got a problem with Steve Nash. I like Steve Nash. Steve Nash is a good basketball mind. Mm-hmm. He just is. I'm cool with it. Look, if this fall flat on his face, then they'll get the smoke for it falling flat on their face. But one thing I can say, with hiring Kenny Atkinson, they haven't made too many bad decisions.
Right.
They just haven't.
Right.
They've hired good coaches. They've drafted good players. They've developed good players, and to the point where you got, out of 2 of the top 10 players in the league possibly that wanted to come with a DeAndre Jordan and still have Karis LeVert and Dinwiddie on your team. They are clearly doing something right in that market, and they are clearly, what this hire speaks to me, they trying to dethrone the Knicks. That's what it speaks to me. It speaks volumes, and I'm not mad at it. I'm just not mad at it.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned Kenny Atkinson, and I was going to bring his name up when I was talking about the whole white supremacy thing, and I think another reason why I'm kind of taking the take that I'm taking is because if we're just, and I'm just talking about the Nets. I'm not talking about the league as a whole. I'm not talking about the commissioner's office or the people in higher ups. I'm strictly talking about the Brooklyn Nets here. If we're gonna say that this, the situation with the Nets is white supremacy, then I got to tell you, Kenny Atkinson certainly didn't, take advantage of it, because, you had people throwing their hands up like what the hell the Nets were doing when they fired him, in the middle of the season when this guy didn't even have the opportunity to coach the superstars. He slightly had Kyrie for a few games, but look, for the most part, he didn't have those 2 guys to coach. And already he was out the door mid-season. Now, Jacques Vaughn did a great job with them, kind of entering the bubble in the games that they played. But, I thought they did Kenny Atkinson a little dirty there.
This is called a superstar hire. This is called a PR hire. And if he can get this team to the conference finals with a healthy Kevin Durant, healthy Kyrie Irving, this team, at 100% strength.
Yep.
That's enough. That's really enough. And then come the higher expectations where we want, finals and rings. But this time next year, we're talking about them being deep in the playoffs.
Yep.
Is this a bad hire still? What I'm saying? So for me,
of course.
Of course, it's not a bad hire if all that happens. So, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. I don't got a problem with it. Like I said, I am interested to see if they interviewed somebody else just for my name's sake. But like I said, it seems like they wanted something to shake the establishment. It's not like nobody. It's not like nobody coming off of this and saying Steve Nash is a racist piece of what. They're saying he's a good guy. Their 2 top players are vouching for the dude. Like, yeah, we cool with this move. It's for me, everybody seems to be in line with, everybody in the organization seems to be in line with this move. At this point, it's just
and not that this matters, and it doesn't make a difference. And I'm not sure if you knew this, but Steve Nash is the godfather of R.J. Barrett. I'm not sure if you knew that, but I don't mean to say that just to make a point about him not being racist or anything like that. But that was just a point there. But here's the other reason why I'm I didn't go off tangent like most people did about the hire. And the one reason I say that is because there's still 3 other coach openings still out there. You still got the Pacers job because Nate McMillan got let go, which I thought was
some bullshit. Yeah.
You still got the Sixers job, Brett Brown got fired, and that was rightfully so.
Yeah.
And you still got the Pelicans job where who's the coach? Gentry. Yeah, Gentry. They decided to part ways, which I thought was BS. So you still got 3 openings, and I would like to hope that at least 2 of those 3 openings you see some black men represented in that role. I mean, who doesn't want Nick McMillan? Like I would have copped this dude right off the block if I knew that somebody was gonna cut him.
You know what I'm saying? Nick McMillan like he a hooker or something.
Well, I don't mean it like that, bro.
Cop this nigga off the block like he a motherfucking drug deal.
But y'all get what I'm saying. But yeah, I just hope that 2 of these 3 spots, at the very least, the 2 of these 3 spots gets filled with some black coaches, because there's not many of them in the league.
I agree with you there.
So we'll see what happens with those jobs. And congrats to Steve Nash. I'm not sure about it just yet. We'll see what happens. And I think somebody had a question in here. I think it was BS3 Radio. What's good, man? He was asking why what qualified Steve Nash to get the job. And I guess it's the same question you can ask for a lot of coaches in the past. Jason Kidd, Derek Fisher. What did they do?
Let's be very clear.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably not qualified for the job. I'm not disagreeing with any of those points that Stephen A. made about, this doesn't happen for a black coach and all of those things. I have no argument there. What I'll say is that it seems as if the Nets have had this process planned and thought out. Right. And if you had the process planned and thought out, and you got your 2 top black players, not only black players, but players on your team and in the league, to say, all right, I'm cool with it. Let's see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. At the end of the day, that's it. Let's see how this thing shapes out to be.
And this is good for PR. This is just good for PR. Steve Nash hire is just good for PR. This is like I said, this team has so much talent when 100% healthy. So the hope is that Steve Nash don't have to Greg Popovich level coaching. You know what I'm saying? That's the
right.
So it's just like, all right, let's roll the dice and see what happens, because let's be clear. In a team that's trying to overtake another major team in New York, if this team wins the chip with these players and this coach, that's a strong punch in the stomach of the New York Knicks. I'm not saying it's going to take, that's going to give them the mantle, but that's a strong punch in the stomach of the New York Knicks. And the New York Knicks now, the patrons are now looking at the Knicks like, man, look what they put together in this time.
Right. Yeah. I don't know that the Nets will ever knock the Knicks off the mantle as far as like the basketball team in the area. I don't know that that'll ever happen.
If I'm a Knicks fan, I'm hoping this works out for the Nets. I'm hoping it works out for the Nets and it puts pressure on James Dolan to either make some changes or say, you know what, I'm not equipped to do this job, which of course that's a unreasonable wish.
Well, you already knew my stance on it when Durant and Kyrie went to the Nets. I gave the Nets props. I had no issue with the Knicks not getting those 2 guys. It's not that much of a rivalry to me anyway, or at least, me growing up.
It's certainly not a basketball rivalry.
It's not It's not a basketball rivalry.
Like, but I do think it's a real estate rivalry.
It's okay. That's a good.
I do think it's a Wall Street rivalry.
That's a good terminology to use there. Yeah. It's a real estate rivalry at this point, kind of like Clippers and Lakers. I mean, you want to talk about a real estate rivalry? I mean, they both play in the same building, so you already know that. Let me say what up to Vince Wright in the chat room. We got J. Ron, also got H-Rap B. Appreciate everybody here in the chat. So, we don't got much time, man. I kind of want to get to these games, but I think you and I know where we kind of stand at, where these series is about to end here. It's a wrap for the Bucks, I think, tonight. They're actually down by 9 points here. So,
and Greek Freak is not playing. Didn't play, correct?
Yeah. Greek Freak is set out this one, so
Yeah.
it's a wrap for the Bucks here, and it could be a wrap for him playing in Milwaukee. If not next season, then the season after that, where he's a free agent. He could be up out of there.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
it's possible.
Well, I'll tell you what. If they are eliminated in 5, we will take the necessary time next week to lay into Greek Freak, no homo. And we will officially dethrone that name. And
I'm not calling him that no more.
He'll officially be called Giannis.
Giannis.
We will have a nice celebration, but a nice ceremony. Because I don't want this dude to not be successful. But look, at this point, you got outplayed by Jimmy Butler, bruh.
Yeah, and really, it just comes down to toughness. Jimmy Butler is a tougher basketball player than Giannis is.
I mean, look, and look. At this point, we got a question: is Jimmy Butler just a better basketball player than Giannis Antetokounmpo?
I don't think.
Forget just toughness.
I don't think he's a better basketball player. I'm not ready to go that route yet. I'm not even ready to pose that question, I should say.
I am.
So.
I am, but I hear
you. You could do it all you want. I'm not ready to go down that road yet. At the end of the day, Giannis still got the skills. Is he missing a jump shot? Yeah. Is he missing that?
You don't shoot a better jump shot, and we keep giving him the props for this Defensive Player of the Year, but keep it a buck. I mean, is he really that good at defense when he ain't ready to strap up the number one guy?
Mm-hmm. The only defense I have of Giannis is the roster. Because I don't think it's a championship roster. I think you need a number 2, bruh. At the end of the day, Chris Middleton is not a number 2.
But it's a number 1 in the East roster, though.
It's a number. Okay, so you're looking at the conference as a whole and saying
number 1 in the East.
And you're saying, okay, who in the East has like 2 legit guys? Like who? Like for example, with the Rockets is Westbrook and Harden. Like who's that in the East? That's what you're trying to say, right? Like there's nobody there in the East that has that.
Well, what I'm saying is that they were on paper, at least by record, the best team in the East, and they are not. This ain't. It's not like. Let's be clear. It's 3-1. It's not 3-2. It's not even 3-3. It's 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And you've been outplayed by Jimmy Butler. Let's be clear on where the NBA put the guy and where the NBA put Jimmy Butler.
Mm-hmm.
In the stake of superstars.
Right.
And he's being outplayed by what some would say is a second-tier star in the league.
Right. Question for you. When you look at them players in Miami, when you look at Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero,
they got a better team.
Bam Adebayo, I would take those guys over Chris Middleton and Eric Bledsoe and Brook Lopez.
But here's the thing: Greek Freak is Greek, or used to be, or never was, whatever. However you want to frame it at this point, like they need to take his shoes out of production. No more Nike deal for you, bruh. Because this is trash. This is what you're giving us is trash, and I don't know why. And he got it. In these circles, I don't care what the NBA want to say about him next year and all that. In these circles, he has, when he takes this loss and this exit, he has officially descended from grace in these barbershop conversations.
Oh, don't use that word, grace. Got me thinking about Jerry Jones right now.
Yeah, he is fallen. He has fallen from grace in these conversations.
Yeah, he's Giannis to me right now until he can prove to me that he can at least get the jump shot going, get the 3-pointers more consistent.
I don't even care if he never got a jumper. I don't care if he never earned a jumper, got a jumper, Trey. You can't you can't second round exit. No, not acceptable.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not. It's definitely not acceptable.
Not acceptable.
At the same time, though, when it comes to championships, you need 2 guys, like 2 elite guys, and
yeah, obviously.
Milwaukee never had that. It was Giannis and everybody else. So until the Bucks can prove that they could put a second guy next to him, then that's what they'll be. They'll win 50-something games every year. They'll probably be a top 4 seed, and they'll get bounced out early, or they'll just come short of the finals.
Yeah. Giannis.
He's Giannis. He's Giannis right now for me. So I think I'm kind of surprised at the Toronto-Boston series, the way it kind of gone with Toronto winning those last 2 games before last night, them tying it up, and then Boston just kind of, taking them
airing them out.
Yeah, just taking them to the woodshed last night to go up 3-2. I still think Boston wins the series. I kind of see Toronto winning Game 6 though.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I thought we all agreed that it would be Boston in 7 though.
Yeah, you know what? I think you're right. I think Boston in 7.
I think
it was either 7 or 6.
I think Jordan might have picked the Raptors in 6. I think it is what happened. But
he definitely had Toronto. I don't remember how many games he had them though.
But I think we definitely had the Celtics in 7, and that's just Nick Nurse respect at this point.
Yeah, pretty much. But I mean, those guys got championship DNA. I mean, whether you claim it
I
as
won't say
legit,
DNA. I'll say experience.
So okay, it's same thing. At least I consider it the same thing. But they weren't. Something told me that they weren't going to go down. The way they did the first 2 games. They were going to come out, firing and make this thing, a series. So I still got Boston there, even though I don't like it. So Lakers and Rockets. 2 games in already. It's tied 1-1. Going back to Game 2, for me, the fact that the Rockets came back after being down, 18, 20 points, the Lakers should be very scared.
Why?
Well, because anytime the Rockets can knock shots down like that, it's going to be tough for the Lakers to even, counteract that, with their shooting, because they don't have the shooting that the Rockets have. Yes, they got LeBron. Yes, they got AD.
Don't this feel like the Blazers all over again?
No,
it don't.
No, hell no.
This don't feel like the Blazers winning Game 1 all over again?
Hell no.
I think the Lakers do it on purpose, man.
Hell no. Do you think the Rockets are to the level of the Blazers in terms of talent and their abilities?
I'm not speaking to the Rockets being like the Blazers. I'm speaking to the Lakers not giving their all in a Game 1.
Well, yes. I mean, it does look that way. I mean, even after Game 1, it kind of looks that way. But after watching Game 2, they have a hard time putting the Rockets away. And again, I got the Lakers in the series, but I just think the Rockets
Any chance for an upset?
Is there a chance for an upset? I do think there's a chance for an upset. I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think there's a chance.
You don't think there's a chance?
I don't think there's a chance for an upset.
With shooting?
I don't think there's a chance for an upset.
Nah, I gotta disagree, bro. You anytime you got that kind of shooting, man, and the fact that the Lakers can't shoot like that consistently, yeah, the Rockets have a chance. I'm not picking them to win the series because I do think the difference in the end is going to be LeBron and Anthony Davis, and I think defensively, the way they've been playing all year, I think that's going to be a big factor also. But
yeah, I think Game 1.
What's that?
I think it's a game. I think it's the exact same thing they did in Portland. That's what I think.
So you think the Rockets aren't going to win another game?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that I think they took this game off. The Lakers.
Oh, okay. So then, wow. So the Lakers can never get beat, legitimately. Then.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that they took Game 1 off.
All right. I mean, all right. at some point, and you know how I felt about them against Portland. Like, what the hell you taking games off for? You better than this team. Get these niggas out the bubble. If it, you know what I'm saying. I think they're better than the Rockets, but I do think they have matchup problems because of the way the Rockets shoot.
Sure. Like I said, I picked the Lakers in 6. So, sure. But at the end of the day, I don't think there's a shot. I don't think they have a shot of upsetting the Lakers. A shot.
You don't think they have a shot?
A shot.
That's
I don't think
crazy.
I don't think they got a James Harden shot in beating the Lakers in this series. 4-2.
Nah, I don't know. I don't know about that. I got the Lakers 4-2 also, but just to discount what the Rockets bring to the table, I don't know.
What do the Rockets? But keep it a buck though.
Yeah.
Keep it a buck. What do the Rockets shoot? That's what they bring to the table.
When the Rockets shoot the way they shoot, and when they don't turn the ball over the way they did in Game 2, they're gonna be a problem. Because let's be honest, Game 2, they was turning the ball over. And you know when LeBron is on a team and you turn the ball over against him, what that means is fast breaks all game. And that's how most LeBron teams get off. They turn the other team over, they get fast breaks. They go up by 10, they go up by 15. That's really what for the Rockets, it's that simple. Don't turn the ball over. and knock your shots down. And you're gonna have a chance.
Yeah, I don't think they got a shot, bro.
All right.
I don't think they got a shot.
What about Denver and the Clippers?
Denver and the Clippers. Look, I know I picked Denver, and I'm gonna hold to that.
Mm-hmm.
But let me say this: I haven't watched enough closely. Let me say that. But I'll say from from the outside looking in, for lack of a better term.
Mm-hmm.
In 3 games, I haven't heard Jamal Murray's name.
I've heard his name. He just hasn't done anything. Done anything close to what he did against Utah.
And let's be clear about what's going to be expected of him if they're going to get it past the Clippers.
Mm-hmm. Well, what's the expectations, right? Like, nobody expects the Nuggets to get past the Clippers, right?
I did.
Sure, you did. But majority of people will tell you the Nuggets don't have the opportunity to get past. Well, they have an opportunity, but they don't. They're not gonna beat They're not gonna beat the Clippers in a series. And let's be real, this is a tougher team than Jazz is. From a defensive standpoint.
Sure. From an all-around perspective.
Yeah. So, am I surprised that Jamal Murray hasn't shown up the way he's shown up against the Jazz? No, I'm not surprised. Can he do more? Hell yeah, he could do more. Hell yeah. And what about that Michael Porter dunk? You see that joint yesterday?
Mm-hmm. I wonder if it, but I didn't mean to cut you off, but I wonder if he's tired, Murray.
That's possible too. What did he got? 2 50-point games and a 42-point
joint? He went on a tear.
Yeah, it's possible. It's definitely possible. But for now, I'm just gonna give credit to the Clip defense. They got 3 defenders on that perimeter that do what they do.
Yeah.
So, but I tell you what, as far as the Nuggets go, I do think Jokic has to step up a little more though too. Because I think at times he's gotten soft in certain situations. I think he just needs to toughen up and play a little bit harder. But yeah, getting back to that Michael Porter Jr. dunk, man, like that was just nasty what he did to Montrezl Harrell last night. So, you got anything? You got anything else?
I don't, man, and I think we missed our mark.
Oh wow, yeah, we definitely missed our mark, and I actually had one topic, but I'm not gonna get to it. I'm just gonna kind of close this thing out real quick, and just want to give some happy birthday shout outs. Maestro Styles had a birthday over the weekend, so happy birthday to Maestro Styles. Just a few more shout outs too. Your sister had a birthday, I think the day before you. Yeah. So happy birthday, Monica. Happy early birthday to my mother. Her birthday's on the 10th.
Yeah.
And to our homie Vince.
Yes, sir.
Which is the same day as my mother. So happy early birthday, Vince.
And you got anniversary coming up.
Yes, sir. In a few weeks, it'll be the 7th anniversary.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah.
7 years. That's crazy, man.
Yeah. Shout out to the missus.
No doubt. Yo,
smacking you, keep your ass in line.
What's up?
Said shout out to the missus for smacking you up, keeping your ass in line.
You like that? you like bringing that up every time I see
every
it.
single time.
Every single time. Hey, I in light of I just wanted to bring this up in light of the WAP video, the Megan Stallion video, Cardi B video. I do have another meaning for what WAP is.
Oh, please don't be corny at the end of this show.
Huh?
I said, please don't be corny at the end of this show.
Come on, man. Nah, seriously. I got a new definition for what WAP is. What about prosecuting the officers that killed Breonna Taylor? And we want to make sure that every show we acknowledge that Breonna Taylor's killers is still out there.
100%.
And that we want to make sure that those officers, get arrested and get prosecuted. So just wanted to throw that out there.
Yep.
There. Was that corny? It was corny.
I'll say no because of the cause. I'll say no because of the cause. I'll let you slide on that one.
But you do want to say it was. Somewhere deep down inside.
It was, but the cause is more important than the cool, and so we'll let that ride. I saw that on on social media and was like, oh, all right. I mean, I get it, but that wasn't super clever. But the cause is more important than the cleverness. So again, it'll rock. Rest in peace, Breonna Taylor. Get these killers in jail.
Yep. Yes, sir. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. Shout out to the homie Chibs for joining us on a football conversation. Don't forget, folks, you can check us out on YouTube, also on iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. You can follow us on social media at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast on Instagram. On Twitter, you can follow us at Barbershop SPOR2. You can also follow us on the Facebook page. And if you got any questions or comments about the show, you can email us at barbershopsportstalk1@gmail.com. And so for Maestro Styles,
I'm sorry, Trey.
What's up? What up?
One, and we don't have to, pontificate, if you will. Billy Donovan is out as the coach of Oklahoma City.
Wow.
The headline reads that the coach's contract expired and both sides decided against an extension.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Well, that's 4 openings right there.
Yeah, there we go next week.
Yeah, here we go. All right, fam. Everybody have a good week. We'll be back. And, one more thing, y'all. We're going to be doing football picks on our Instagram Live, so make sure y'all check that out.
Which means, that means tomorrow.
Either
tomorrow,
Thursday. Or we could, we might just slide over there right now if you got some time.
No, I don't. We'll do it. Let's do it before the Thursday night games, though.
All right, no doubt. All right, y'all. Peace out.
Yep.